Today I am really excited to share my all-time favorite Vera Bradley item collection, my Zip ID collection. I haven't counted how many of these I have, but I do have quite a few that I've collected over the years since high school, which was years and years ago for me. So I have quite the collection of Zip IDs. Like I said, all-time favorite item. I use them as my wallets exclusively. I do have a couple other Vera Bradley items or wallets that I sometimes use, but day in and day out, it's usually always the ID case that I use. And Vera Bradley has made the ID case in a few different variations, and over the years has changed the way the product is quilted even. So I'm going to go through my ID collection with you and also kind of explain like what kind of ID case it is, because I do have the original Zip ID case, the iconic Zip ID case, the clip Zip ID, and the Gen Zip ID. So that total is 4 different kinds of Zip ID cases, but I also have them in categories in terms of like if it's factory outlet or signature store, etc. So let's get started. So let's start with the good old original Zip ID case. The one I'm using today as a wallet is the one in the pattern Happy Snails, one of my all-time favorite patterns. Super beautiful bloom on the back here, and we got a little yellow flower peeking through red with a navy background. And always in the front, you get a peek of the interior pattern if it is a signature store one. In this case, those beautiful happy snails are peeking through. And I don't always put my ID in the ID slot here, which I will show you. So there are 2 compartments here. You've got the ID slot, which is in the front, where you can see my fingers, which is just a piece of fabric separating that and the rest of the pocket, where I have my cards, cash, and change there in the back, and you see the Vera Bradley tag with washing instructions. 100% cotton, machine wash cool, gentle cycle, do not bleach, line dry. I just washed this yesterday because this is one of the ID cases I've had for, I don't know, probably had this one for 3 years. So it was getting a little dingy because, like I said, these are my favorite items. I use them more than any other Vera Bradley item, probably more than any other item in general, since this is my wallet. So they do, you know, they're always in my hand or in my pocket or in my purse, you know, getting it in and out all the time. So sometimes these do get stained. So this is machine washable. I always do take off the metal ring, very easy to come off, and wash it, cool, gentle cycle, and then set it out to dry, in case you're curious about the washing instructions. So that is basically the general construction for most of these until we get to the Gen Zip ID, which will be a little bit different. So there's the one in Happy Snails. Okay, continuing with the signature line, this is one of my favorites that I actually haven't used that much. This one also went through the washer. The pattern is Blue Bayou. I love the zigzag pattern on the inside. And the back is just my favorite. I love the white flower outlined in black and this big blue core of a flower. So pretty. And blue is my favorite color. I love all shades of blue, and you'll see a lot of blue ones coming up here. So that's Blue Bayou. So you can get a better look at that interior pattern. And I did wash this one too because the white had just a little bitty stain on it, but it came out really nicely. So you get a close look at that. On to the next one. This one is brand new to me. This just came in the mail a couple of days ago. This is the pattern Bohemian Chevron. I should have written down every single pattern because there's quite a few of these, so I might forget a pattern. I hope not, but I have my trusty phone if I need to Google something. So this is, I believe, the coordinating trim to Bohemian Blooms. And I saw this on eBay. I think the person had it listed for $4 free shipping, and they said it was brand new without tags. I don't think they were telling me the truth because it definitely looks used. Even the metal ring is not completely orange, but just a tiny bit orange from use. That's okay though. I really, like I said, I use these things, you know, till I can't use them anymore, to the point where they are faded or ripped. And before I did this video, I did clean out I have a tote with all my Vera Bradley in it, and I put all my ID cases together, and I thought I should do a video. I did retire a couple of my ID cases, specifically one in the pattern Rio, which I love. It was an ID case from college, and if you know that pattern, it's really light in color, and so it was just completely and utterly dirty. Wash couldn't save it, and it did have a couple tears in it, and for an item that small, you know, I'm not going to risk having my change fall out or, you know, something like that. So I did retire that ID case. But this one is in pretty good condition. I love the geometric patterns and the white lines, and the inside pattern is one of my favorite things. And I actually have a Bohemian Blooms ID case here to show you. And as you can see, the interior patterns are the same on the two. So this actually, I don't think this is the interior pattern. I think this is its own standalone pattern, Bohemian Chevron, Bohemian Blooms. And the reason I say that is because they both have an interior pattern. So I will turn that around for you so you can get a better look at it. I had two of these, two Zip ID cases and Bohemian Blooms. I don't know where the other one is. I looked everywhere. Like I said, I went through all of my Vera. I even looked through all of my purses because, you know, sometimes you keep things in, you know, in a Vera Bradley purse forever until you switch back to it and you're like, hey, I've been looking for this. Still couldn't find it. I could have maybe given it away since I had two. I don't remember, but I love this pattern and I love this one too. So Bohemian Blooms, Bohemian Chevron. And as I mentioned before, this is like the signature line ID cases. These will have interior patterns. When I get to the next grouping, which is factory outlet ID cases, they will not have interior patterns. It'll just be the solid color nylon lining. Next is also one of my all-time favorite patterns, which is the pattern Heirloom Paisley. I absolutely love that speckled interior pattern. I'm not too crazy about the pattern placement on the back of this one. But my mom gave this to me, so I absolutely love it, and I use this one a lot, and it's still in really good condition. And as you can see, the ring on this one is different. My camera's not that great, so I don't think it's gonna, it probably won't, I don't think it's gonna zoom in on the ring, but you can see Vera Bradley is small and right next to each other, and on this ring, it's huge, spread out, and in all caps. So even the rings are going to be different with these as we go down the line here. And I'll try to point that out if I can remember. Okay, and the last one that I have from the signature line, and I'm going to struggle with this pattern. It's not Impressionista, but I have a feeling it starts with an I. Oh, Imperial Rose. I think the pattern is Imperial Rose. And this is one of those other patterns that I wasn't too crazy about. I think because this is such a small item, I'm not, you know, it's going to be hard to get that beautiful geometric rose on here. But I really like it because it's a lot of solid block colors. And I really like the interior design. I think it's really unique. I've never seen Vera Bradley do a design like that. So, really like this one still. And this is my only item in this pattern as well. Okay, now we're going to move on to the factory outlet ID cases that I have in my collection. First on top is the pattern Blueberry Blooms. And to start with, so all of the ID cases that I showed you here, as you can see, they all have my favorite zipper pulls that Vera Bradley has ever done, which is the ribbon zipper pulls with the cursive, minus the one in Heirloom Paisley. It doesn't have cursive, it just has the kind of block style Vera Bradley writing, which is fine with me. I mean, it doesn't have to even have writing on it. I do prefer that, but I really like the ribbon pulls. My hands down favorite pulls that Vera Bradley has done before. Now we're moving on to the faux leather block pulls. And Vera Bradley is written on this one, as you can see there. I am not a huge fan of these for a couple different reasons. I've seen so many pictures online of like reviews on the Vera Bradley website of people complaining that these come right off too easily, that they break off. Like if you pull too hard, they can tear, and this is brand new. And as you can already see, the threading is coming undone. And I try to be as gentle on my items as possible, but I don't know how long that's gonna last. So maybe I might like put some super glue down on that thread so it won't come undone. Even though the loop is kind of, looks like it's glued together anyway, but still, that's probably a precaution I will take. And there's the Vera Bradley ring. We've seen that type before, I think with the, probably with the Heirloom Paisley one. And there is no interior pattern, except we've got that nylon lining. In this case, it is light blue, and Vera Bradley is written on the inside in that block text again. So I'll get you in close so you can look at that big, beautiful flower in the middle and the little splash of blueberries on the top. Next is also a newish one that I recently got. One of my newer favorite patterns, Wildflower Garden. This one I recently got off of Poshmark, and my bag that I'm using today matches this. I'm not using this one today, but I said in a recent video that this is one of my new favorite bags. Also in Wildflower Garden, this is the Little Hipster. My favorite small bag and my favorite large bag is the carry-all crossbody now. But I've been enjoying using this so much that I haven't even thought to really change out of it because I really like it. But yep, that's the matching ID case. Now we're back to that block lettering in all caps on the key ring. We have the ribbon zipper pull on this one, so I thought that was really interesting with the Vera Bradley cursive writing. And on the inside, we've got that black nylon lining with Vera Bradley block writing. Someone wrote on the tag on this one. It is used, so, and she did say that in the description, so I knew that was coming. But Wildflower Garden is so hard to find, and it came with this purse, and it was a great set and a great deal, so I didn't care too much about that. All right, so I think this might be my last one in, that's a factory exclusive or factory outlet or whatever. It's from one of the factory stores anyway. And this is Playful Penguins Red. And if you know me, I absolutely love penguins. They're one of my favorite animals. I love all animals, but they're definitely one of my favorites. And this one, I believe I purchased via phone order at the Columbus outlet. And I think I got pretty decent pattern placement. We have a couple that are kind of cut off or decapitated, but I like these three in the middle with his little scarf blowing away. He's walking, and the three peeking at the top there. And then of course we've got that black nylon lining, as you can see, with the Vera Bradley block letters and the key ring with the small Vera Bradley text. And we're back to those faux zippers again with Vera Bradley on them. And you can see a couple penguins on the front. And this won't be the last Penguins ID case that you'll see. Okay, now I think we're gonna move on to my iconic zip ID cases. So here's where we're gonna notice some other differences. So I'm gonna pick on the Playful Penguins Red one, since this one is my first one in the pile. So this one again is the factory outlet one. This one is the iconic zip ID case. I don't think it's RFID. They haven't made these RFID yet. Not sure why, but they definitely should. But I did get this one at the Signature store, and pattern placement on this one's really good. The penguins are wearing red scarves, which is super cute. But as you can see now, the ID cases are quilted. So these are the old Signature ones, and this is the new Signature style with the quilted. That's basically the only real difference here. And they did go back to the ribbon zipper pulls, except they do not have the Vera Bradley signature on them. But I don't mind so much now that they went back to these, so that's really great. And I'll let you take a look at the pattern placement on this one. We've got the small text on the Vera Bradley keyring, and we've got that neat checkered pattern on the inside that's black and white. This one is honestly one of my favorites out of all of them. It's also the iconic zip ID case in, oh, I forgot to mention, this is Playful Penguins Gray, I believe. So there are 3 different penguins patterns. There's red, gray, and blue. This one is signature. The red and blue are factory outlet. Okay, so back to the Lilac Medallion. When this pattern first came out, I saw it in where I used to live in my local gift shop. And I really wanted to buy something in it. And the reason why I bought this is because, number 1, I love zip ID cases, favorite item ever. Number 2, I love the pattern. And number 3, when I really like something that's Vera Bradley and I can't afford like a purse or a larger item, I always go for the zip ID cases. They're very affordable. Sometimes I'll have a coupon. In this case, that was a store I used to work at, so I got a 20% discount. So it always works out really well because I always love zip ID cases and they're inexpensive. So I absolutely love the pattern placement on this. I love that we've got a big medallion there, and even we've got part of one down here. Pattern is so beautiful, and those touches of blue really brighten this pattern up. When I got this, I used this ID case for a year straight, which is very rare for me because I always switch my ID cases like on the constant. Like I just switched this one. I think I was using the Bohemian Blooms one. And then before that, I was using the Bohemian Chevrons one. I switch these all the time because they're small and easy to switch. But this one, I liked it so much that when this pattern first came out, I bought it and then used this for like a year. So this one is, you know, out of this grouping here, is one of my most worn out ones. It might be kind of hard to see in the video, but it's kind of tearing right there. The corners are okay. This one's getting a little bit rough, as you can see right there. Keyring is not orange yet. We still got that little Vera Bradley text there. It's not orange, but it's very scratched up, as you can see with the light shining on it. And I love that interior pattern, so pretty. I might switch to this one. Love it. Look at that. Yeah, so this one is just, and it's nice and soft from use. I love when they're nice and soft from use. It's just my favorite, one of my favorites. Next, iconic zip ID case. This is the pattern, is it Doodle Daisy? No. Oh, goodness gracious, not Doodle Daisy. There is a pattern called Doodle Daisy. This one's not Doodle Daisy. It'll come to me. Oh, I might need to look it up. Definitely something with Daisy in it. That's for sure. Daisy Dot Paisley. There's so many like patterns with the name Daisy in them. There's like Doodle Daisy, Daisy Dot Paisley, Daisy Daisy. There's one that's called Daisy Daisy. I think it's pretty old. Really pretty pattern. I saw a zip ID case in it just the other day when I was looking at zip ID cases on eBay. So yeah, Daisy Dot Paisley. This is still a recent pattern. And I found this one at Dillard's, and I just saw that pattern placement and I couldn't resist. It was just, I love the teal with the 4 pink flowers and this big, beautiful leaf-like thing on the back here. It's just so pretty. Couldn't resist. We got the blue polka dots for the interior. We still got that ribbon zipper pull. And this key ring is just like the other one, where it has the small Vera Bradley text. And this one is a recent purchase, I would say, within the past couple months, and I've used it 1 or 2 times so far. And I think this one also came from Dillard's. Let me think. Nope, this one came from eBay. There is another one that came from Dillard's. This is also a recent pattern as of now. This is the pattern. Why is that slipping my mind? Goodness gracious, Kelly. I am so sorry. I don't know why my memory's starting to get bad, especially with the new stuff. Lavender Meadow. That's my sister's name, and I can't even remember. So sorry about that. Anyway, I found this one on eBay when this pattern first came out, and I did go to my a Dillard's that is close to me because there is no Vera Bradley store that is, well, there is one that's like, I think 45 to 50 minutes away, but the Dillard's is a lot closer. Went to the Dillard's, looked at their ID cases, and I won't spoil it, but there is another, basically there is another one in this pattern that you'll see coming up here. But I really like the regular zip IDs too, so I wanted just a regular zip ID with a ladybug on it, hopefully, or a bee, or both would be even better. I went on eBay when this pattern first released, and somehow someone already had like 5 of these in their listing, and I messaged the seller and asked if I could get a picture of their best pattern placement. And then I realized this exact one was the main photo, and I'm like, you know what, I want that one in the photo. I love the leaves. I know we don't have any big flowers on the back of this one, but I think it's really unique with the green balance and the green shading. We've got some leaves going up in the background, some little splashes of flowers. We do have the bigger ones kind of looming down there at the bottom very prettily. And then we've got that big one in the front that is cut off by the ID window. Look at that interior pattern. So cute. And some more leaves there in the corner. But I just really liked those leaves. And I know that's kind of probably in a lot of opinions, maybe one of the most boring parts of the pattern, but I really liked it. So I went for that. And we still got the same ring and that zipper pull. All right, so now we're moving on to the next category of zip ID cases. And these are the clip zip IDs. So these are a lot different than the regular zip ID case. This one is non-quilted. I'm just gonna bring it back in to compare real quick. So I have cats, and there's just cat hairs all over this thing. So as you can see, the clip zip ID has a couple differences. It is rounder, it has rounder bottoms, and it has that little clip there. So you can clip your keys or clip it to your belt loop. So there is no loop, just a clip. And it's and it's rounder, and it has the Vera Bradley stitched in cloth tag with the Vera Bradley signature on the back. This one is in the pattern Symphony and Hue. When I was going through my Symphony and Hue kick a couple months ago, which I'm still obsessed, Symphony and Hue is still my #1 all-time favorite pattern. But I was going through a kick where I was like, I have to have a zip ID case in Symphony and Hue. I couldn't find a regular zip ID case, but I did find this one that came brand new with tags, and this is one of my favorite parts of the Symphony and Hue pattern, so I saw that and really wanted to get it. And I absolutely love the interior pattern as well that you can see through the ID window. And you've got a little convenient clip. I think I have my keys. I can go ahead and clip them on there for you, just to kind of demonstrate. And I do use this clip a lot when I use this ID type, because sometimes maybe I'm going on a walk and I just want my wallet and keys, and so that's what I'll do. I'll just clip it on there so they're one and together, and it makes things a little bit easier. I think those are the only differences that I showed you. So that's the clip zip ID in Symphony and Hue. This was my first clip zip ID, and this is the pattern Mocha Rouge. I got this, I've had this one probably since college, and it's still in near perfect condition. I have used it a lot. I think I've just been a little more, I mean, I'm careful with all of my stuff, but I think sometimes with my zip ID cases, when I was in college, I would like, you know, pull it in and out of my backpack, and I had 3 jobs in college, and so I would, you know, take that little thing with me absolutely everywhere. And maybe I just didn't use this as much as my other zip ID cases. So it's still in really good condition. Love the interior pattern. We've got the triangles with the beautiful little white flowers in them. We still got that clip and the Vera Bradley signature tag on the back. We've got one more clip zip ID, and this one is a little broken, but I still absolutely love it. It is my favorite clip zip ID that I own, and this one is in the pattern Yellow Bird. So a little background behind this one, I bought this one in a lot on eBay with a couple other small Yellow Bird items. I believe it was a checkbook and a glasses case. And the person said it was in good condition, like everything was in excellent condition. But at first, the title of their listing was damaged lot. And so I messaged them and I said, what's wrong with the lot? And they said, oh, I'm sorry, this is not the damaged lot. It's something else on eBay that I listed. And I checked just to make sure, and they were right. And so they ended up taking damaged lot out of the description. I trusted them, went ahead, and it was really cheap for the 3 items. I went ahead and bought it, and I got this in, and it didn't have the little clip on it. Still has the Vera Bradley tag, and the bird is smack dab in the middle, but it is missing the clip. It's just a zipper. But I'm not mad about that because I do have, you know, these don't have the clip on them. They do have the ring, which I do like, but I've learned to live without the ring or the clip. And I've been thinking about buying ribbon to make my own zipper pull, so it'll look something like that. Haven't done that yet. This is a relatively new to me item within the past couple of months. I just couldn't resist the bird on the back. You can't find that anywhere. This is the only one that I've seen with the bird smack dab in the middle of such a small item. And like I said, it's still my favorite zip ID case, clip zip ID case, even though it doesn't have the clip. There's the interior pattern. Okay, so now we're moving on to the last category, which I'm gonna break up into 2, so it'll be like a little subcategory. And this is the Gen Zip ID. I have, of course, the original Gen Zip ID, and of course they made the iconic line and still kept the Gen Zip ID, so I have 2 iconic ones. And I will kind of explain the differences. So this one is in the pattern Indio, and as you can see, the front mainly looks the same as a regular ID case. We still have the ring, the Vera Bradley, and the ribbon zipper pull. No cursive writing on this one though. Pretty much looks the same, except we have this border lining. We still got that interior pattern, but on the back, they added an extra pocket for, you know, extra cards, cash, maybe your keys, things like that, which I think is really nifty and really smart. And I know people have been asking for this extra pocket for a long time because I was one of them. And back when I was like just starting off in college, I had this idea. Mind you, I was obsessed with the ID case back then. I emailed someone from Vera Bradley and said, I have this idea. And I sent them pictures of like this mock-up that I made of a zip ID case with an extra pocket on the back. And I said, what if you added an extra slip pocket or an extra zipper pocket that even mirrors the regular ID? So you have 2 zip IDs in one. You can just stitch them together, and I guarantee you people will love it. I will love it. I will use it every day for like the rest of my life if you made this product. And a guy responded to me and he said, Kelly, this is a really great idea. Thank you so much for your feedback. And he said, we always appreciate customer feedback and ideas, but please keep in mind, if for some reason in the future Vera Bradley makes an item that you recommended or something similar, you won't get anything out of it, basically is what he was saying. Like, I can't sue them and say, that was my idea, or you owe me money, which I would never do anyway to begin with. But he basically put a disclaimer in the email saying, after saying, you know, like, good idea and stuff, he basically said, if Vera Bradley makes this one day, you ain't getting anything out of it. Again, I was okay with that. But that kind of gave me a little bit of hope because, you know, I was like, oh, maybe someday they will, maybe they won't, I don't know. After like 2 years, I was like, okay, That's never gonna happen, but it's okay. And then they came out with this little guy, which is pretty cool and kind of close to the picture that I sent in. And basically the picture included like a mock-up of a pocket that looked it was basically like this. Here, I'll demonstrate it for you. It's basically like this with 2 zip IDs like attached together. And I know that seems like a silly idea and it would be bulky if you filled them up, but I love these so much, and sometimes I do want extra room in them, and I just thought that was a good idea. And apparently Vera Bradley did too. Whether or not they took my specific idea into account, I'm sure there are a bunch of other people that have this idea, but it just made me feel really good nonetheless because I love the Gen Zip ID. And again, this is Iconic, the Iconic version, in the pattern Indio. And I have one more Iconic Gen Zip ID, and we have Lavender Meadow again. This one came from Dillard's. When the pattern first came out, I went to Dillard's and I found one with a ladybug on it. I think they only had 2 of them on display that had no critters on them, no bugs. I did ask her if she had any more, and she was super nice. She went behind the counter, pulled out 2 more, and this was the only one that had not 1, but 2 ladybugs on the exterior part of the pattern. And 2 different kind of ladybugs. This one has its wings open. This one's crawling up the vine, and we've got that big purple flower there. And then there's the front, and you get to see that beautiful interior pattern again. Vera Bradley ring, ribbon zipper pull. And to be honest, I like the regular Gen Zip IDs better than the Iconic ones. I feel like the Iconic ones are just a little bit bulky. Not that I don't like them still, but I love them. But I do gravitate using my regular Gen Zip IDs more than the Iconic. So first, I have one in Roomba. Beautiful, vibrant, tropical pattern. Open it up there. And I love, oh my goodness, I love that interior pattern. I think if you get in close there, there's all kinds of little things going on in there. Probably one of my favorite interior patterns out of all of these. And there's the front. And there's the ring, kind of like all the others with the smaller text. And then on the ribbon zipper pull, we've got the block text. Super pretty. And then this one, you're probably gonna think I'm a little bit crazy, but I do have 2 Gen Zip IDs in the same pattern, which is Heirloom Paisley. When I first got this Gen Zip ID, I obsessed over it so much, and I've used this probably, let me think real quick. I probably used this one more than any of the other Zip IDs down there, if I can remember correctly. Oh, the Lilac Medallion one I've used more, but this one's probably second to that one. And so after a while, I was like, I want a backup. So I got this one, which, as you can see, the pattern placement makes it look like a completely different wallet. Completely different. And I love that light green. So I picked this pattern placement. I know that seems crazy because there's a lot of gaps in the pattern, but that light green is my favorite. One of my favorite colors. Then you turn it over and you've got that purple and all that other pattern going on. I love the touches of blue with the geometric squares. And then here's the other pattern placement. We've got more of that green on the front, and on the back we just have complete craziness. The complete craziness, that's Heirloom Paisley, which I love this too. And so this one is practically new. I've maybe used this one twice. I've used this one like a million times. I'm actually thinking of switching to this one now that I'm thinking about it. I just really like it. And we've got that ribbon zipper pull with both, of course, with the block text, same rings. So that has been my Vera Bradley Zip ID collection video. I know this is kind of long. I could talk about these items forever because I absolutely love the Zip IDs and all the forms that they come in. So thank you so much for watching.